Beer is an integral part of most of our cultures, and here at SAB Miller, our beer brewing roots go back hundreds of years. But while most of us love our beer, few know the work that goes into brewing and packaging the perfect pint. This is where your colleagues in the technical function come into play. So how do they do it? The production process is usually the same and involves a few distinct stages. Brewing materials have remained basically the same over the millennia. Purest water, finest malted barley and choicest hops are transformed by yeast into the beverage we know and love as beer. In the brewhouse, various types of malt are crushed together to break up the grain kernels and extract the fermentable sugars. The milled product is called grist, which is then mixed with heated water in a mash tun for a process called mash conversion. Mash conversion uses the natural enzymes in the malt to break the malt starch down into sugars. After mashing, the mash is pumped to the lauter tun, which separates the sweet liquid from the husks of the grains. This liquid is known as wort, which is then collected in a vessel called a kettle and is brought to a controlled boil before the hops are added. After boiling, the wort is moved to a whirlpool for the wort separation stage. Here, any malt or hop particles are removed to leave a liquid that is now ready to be passed to the next stage of cooling and fermentation. To start the fermentation, yeast is added during the filling of the vessel. Yeast converts the sugary wort into beer by producing alcohol as well as a wide range of flavors, and carbon dioxide, which is used later in the process to give the beer its sparkle. After fermentation, the liquid is called green beer. It now needs to be matured to allow full development of flavors and to provide a perfectly smooth finish. After reaching its full potential, the beer is filtered, carbonated and transferred to the bright beer tank. The cellaring process takes between 3 to 4 weeks. Packaging is fast and it's loud, yet like the brewing process, it has to be utterly precise. Breweries fill up to 120,000 containers per hour on a single packaging line. That's 2,000 per minute. The most important part of the filling process is to eliminate all the air in the containers because the oxygen in air is bad for beer. A variety of mechanisms are used to ensure the beer is not subjected to oxidation. Beer is pasteurized before or after the containers are closed to ensure that it remains fresh throughout its shelf life. Depending on the pack type, the next steps in the beer's journey vary. Kegs are now ready to be shipped into the trade via the warehouse. Cans move on to the packaging area, but bottles must first be labeled before making their way to you. Finally, the beer is packed in a variety of different configurations. It is then loaded onto large pallets and sent to the warehouse, from where it makes its way onto trucks and is distributed to the trade. This is the long journey of a beer. So next time you pop open a bottle, pour a draft or open a can to that familiar fizzing sound, spare a thought for the many weeks it has taken to brew that beer, package it and deliver it to you. And enjoy it. Cheers.